Hey bird lovers, welcome back to Parrot channel. Today we're gonna talk about 10 things you should know before you get a pet bird. Enjoy the video. First things first, birds can be very loud. It also depends on what bird species are you getting, but for example, even a cockatiel or a budgie can still be very loud. It can annoy your roommates or your family members. In bigger species like macaws or Amazons, it can even annoy your neighbors. Be prepared for that. Birds are extremely messy. If your birds actually live together in aviary, you probably wouldn't have to clean their cage that often. But if you have birds that live in cages, you'll definitely have to clean their cage at least 2 times a week. And if you have your bird inside in some room, you will also have to clean a space around their cage because there will be a lot of mess. For example, poops, feathers, and uneaten seeds or other foods. Next thing you should know before you get a bird is definitely that birds are very social animals and they should always be kept at least in pairs. For my opinion, housing a single bird is an animal abuse, so please everyone who has just one bird, get them a friend. Fourth thing to think about is that they are a long-term commitment. They can live very long time. It also depends on what species of bird you get. For example, if it's a budgie, it can be from 5 to 12 years. If you get a cockatiel, it can be around 15 to 30 years. If you get something like um, African Grey, it can be almost 60 years. And if you get a macaw, then it can be around 100 years. So yes, these birds are definitely very long-term commitment. So be prepared that you are gonna have this bird for a big part of your life. Be prepared that not all birds will talk. You probably seen those cute videos of pet birds talking, and it is possible that your bird will talk. I actually have 6 parrots, and only one of them does actually talk. I can put you clips of him talking, but be prepared that your bird may not talk. Sometimes you are lucky enough to get a bird that will eventually talk, but not all birds do that, and not all birds are actually able to do that. So just keep that in mind and never buy a bird just because you think they will talk, because you can be very disappointed. Another thing to consider before you get a bird is definitely that they can be aggressive towards other humans, even aggressive to you. It actually depends on every single bird. Every bird is different, but oftentimes it happens with hen-raised birds or with birds that lived just with one human for a longer period of time. This is very controversial because some birds may even attack um, their owner's family members, and it actually can be very harmful. It also depends on what species you have. For sure, budgie won't hurt you that much, but on the other hand, macaw can do a lot. Birds require a really unique diet. They need to have a big variety of vegetables, fruits, greens, seeds, and grains, and this all you have to put in their diet like almost every single day. You must feed them every single day, but it depends. You should always change their diet a bit to make sure that they will always get a different sorts of vitamins every single day. You can also use pellets as their main part of diet, but I actually don't recommend it because they often can have lack of vitamins and nutrients as well as seeds. So you should combine these two, and you should also um, add some grains to their diet, and also most importantly, veggies. So, when it comes to expensiveness, birds actually can be very expensive, and you must be prepared for that before you get one. Birds actually need a varied diet, as we told in the last clips, and they actually need to have pretty much expensive diet, also pretty much expensive new accessories. You always have to buy them a new toys to get them stimulated, and you always have to um, go to the vet when something's wrong, and this can also be very pricey, so just be prepared for that. You'll have to actually spend a lot of money on your birds, so just be prepared for that before you get one or two, because they actually can be very expensive sometimes, and some people don't realize it, and then they just rehouse their birds because they weren't prepared for those money that they gave in them. Birds need a lot of mental stimulation, and in the wild, they will usually just climb the trees, fly long distances, and find their food. But what should they do in the captivity? Well, you probably don't really want to have a bird that just stays on the perch whole day. You'll actually have to create a lot of fun and engaging activities for your birds to actually enjoy and spend time practicing them the whole day. You'll actually have to buy a lot of new toys for your birds every single month. I definitely recommend you to change their toys very often to make their brains stimulated and to make them happy. Birds actually absolutely love toys, and you just have to find what toys work best for your bird. But also, never use mirrors because they actually can lead to a lot of mental illnesses. You don't have to buy all the toys. You can actually make some by yourself, and this is really great way to save money on your birds. I really like to do that, and I did a bunch of DIY toys for my birds, and they actually really like them. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!